Hi, I'm Marc Sumner, CEO and founder of Robertson Sumner. Welcome to the Channel Chat podcast, where we will share learnings, best practices and failures with some of the biggest names in the IT industry.
You know, a lot of channel partners are asking me, a lot of channel firms are asking me, how does people maintain a pipeline or carry on doing new business inquiries and obviously educate their clients, etc., or not send existing, maybe the net new ones, when potentially, like you said, there's more important things at the moment, like anxiety, etc. So how do people make sure they've got some sort of pipeline to come back, so when they do come back in May and June, they're not actually going back to blank and they've got nothing to do?
Well, fortunately in IT, you're in a space where solutions need renewing, solutions need replacing. So we're fortunate in that space that stuff runs out. You know, you've got no choice but to buy and have support. Support is the biggest issue right now. You know, you can't let support lapse now. You know, you've hardly got access to your data center. So the last thing you want to do is let your support lapse. So we're going to see renewals. We're going to see opportunities to extend licensing and things like that. What we're potentially not going to see is a whole data center replacement project. You know, we're going to see people try and keep the lights on at least until we've got access back to the data center. And we've seen that I only had one instance of that in March, where an organization tendered for their security refresh. We were definitely the cheapest. We were definitely offering the right services, but they decided not to go with, they pulled the tender and decided to renew with the incumbent for 6 months. So that's not a COVID cough, by the way. You're
yeah, I've had COVID, so I've had it last week. It was terrible. So
you had it?
Yeah, I had it for 8 days. It was pretty bad. Well, 8 days, I would say probably. I had it from sort of a Wednesday to Wednesday. I just started coming out of it last Wednesday, Thursday. So I've been back last 2 days. Well, I'll be back working, but for the first 4 or 5 days, I was literally just in my bed, couldn't move.
Well, you're very lucky. My friend, who is much fitter than I am, runs marathons, and that he's in hospital on a breathing machine. You know, same age as me. You know, lives down the road to me. It's a scary time. So yeah, I think that we're fortunate business-wise that stuff is going to happen. But, you know, we pride ourselves on getting net new logo customers. You know, we won 78 net new logos last year.
Wow.
And,
brilliant.
you know, that's what we do. That's hard. You can't do that in this time. Having said that, we've won a couple of net new logos in the last week, you know, which is good. But it's hard to sustain that. You can't go and see someone, you can't win them. Yeah. You know,
In terms of resellers seem to be out there educating their clients, which is a great thing, and they're putting like landing pages on there about homeworking, etc., around sort of like stuff that they could have been selling before, around the white space they didn't sell to their customers. Why do you think it's taken a sort of like a crisis like this for partners to sort of wake up and suddenly think, actually, we could be selling them homework, and we could be selling them security, could be selling them storage, or whatever it is, to actually start selling their wider portfolio?
Okay, so we've been selling this for years, right? But we're a proactive go-getter reseller, right? That's trying to come up with innovative new ideas for our customers to embrace. That's how we get in the door. Most other resellers are reactive. You know, they haven't got the vision of next-gen tech. They haven't got the vision of, I want to tell you something you haven't heard before. But that's what we do.
Do you think it's scared of doing it? Do you think they're scared of educating their clients on that? Because a lot of resellers are like in panic mode at the moment. They're just reacting to sort of like, give me laptops, give me this, give me homeworking, etc., etc. And they're putting landing pages on when they could have been doing that before. They could have been educating their clients on this sort of stuff. So why do you think they aren't doing it? Or didn't they do it before?
Least path of resistance.
Right.
Yeah. They follow the trends. They take the orders that are there. They don't rock the boat. You know, we see it all the time with overlay sales teams in organizations, right? You've got this overlay sales team who's got this fantastic product, the organisation's got 1,000 customers, and the account managers won't let the overlay guy go into their accounts because they don't want him to upset them and spoil the existing pot.
Yeah, it's not. They don't want to take the relationship off them or whatever it is. It's just crazy.
We love that. We love that. Yeah. That's brilliant. That's what makes us successful. You know, that's always what's made us successful. I want to tell you something you haven't heard before. I want to come and see you, want to talk to you, want to get inside your business, understand you. If I can show benefit, you're going to buy from me. If I can't, you're not. And we've always done that.
And before the crisis, how would you get that conversation going? So I want to show you something you never heard before. I want to get inside your business, etc. Because most MDs or most owners are quite resistant to change or people calling him, etc. So how do you get that education into them that they actually need to come and see you, Jonathan? Or
that's
meet
the secret sauce.
Yeah, well, let's
I'm not telling you so you can tell the world.
I'll keep that one out.
Yeah, that's the secret sauce. You know, that's what we've always done. You know, when we sold the last business, we were averaging 100 net new logos a year. You know, and we were up to 78 last year. We've only been going 5 years. We were doing 100 net new at the end of kind of 8, 9, 10 years. So,
yeah, you'll have to tell me that offline. I want that secret sauce to get on board 78 net new customers in my firm.
Yeah, well, it's you know, it's a formula. You know, it's what we do. We've always done that, and that's what organisations don't understand when they're acquiring companies too, right? So what happens is, you know, you get the old guard. You know, you had the security companies that go out and acquire companies, and what they do is they bolt on an existing business, and therefore that £10 million business that bought a £3 million business is now a £13 million business. You know, if a £10 million business came along and bought us, for example, we would have turned that into a £40 million business because we'd apply our formulas to what they do, and therefore we grow both exponentially. But all they do is they sit on their accounts, they farm their accounts, they milk their accounts. And what they don't add into that is the net new logos, the new business. I want to sell more to the people I've got, and I want to sell more to new people. Yeah. And that's what we continue to do.
Why do you know? Obviously, without giving me the secret sauce away, but why do you think companies don't do that? Now, you know, the cost of a new logo acquisition is high. You know, at the moment, people seem to be seeing it's very hard to actually go and get a net new logo customer, but it is the lifeblood of a business. So why don't you think people really focus on it?
They don't know how to do it. You know, there are hunters and there are farmers. You know, these are the words we hear in sales all the time, right? Yeah. And some are good at hunting and some are good at farming. Fortunately, my guys are good at both, right? But I teach them how to hunt. You know, I take guys on from a young age into telesales space. We train them up. And that's the other place that people fail. You know, everyone says, we want net new logos. We want to win new business. We're going to set up a telesales team. They're going to go and find us new business. If you don't know how to manage a telesales team, you can't build a telesales team. If you can't lead from the front and show people how to win new business by cold calling, you can't set up a telesales team. It's the most horrible job in the world, right? Yeah. I don't want to do it. They don't want to do it, right? And if you go into one of these big corporate organizations, or even a smaller organization that thinks it wants to be a corporate organization, and they think they can build business by building a telesales team, then, you know, they put a guy in to manage them who doesn't want to do it. It flows down. You know, new business is hard. You know, fortunately, it's something I've done forever and a day, and I know how to do it. I know how to teach how to do it.
Do you think I see lots of companies come to me, vendors, resellers, and distributors, all types of companies, and want to get a new business team, but they go on to very, very junior people, etc., and they don't give them the sort of formal training, but they're asking them to engage with CXO or C-level relationships and enterprise customers. And I'm looking at them as if to sort of say, last year, you know, little Johnny was in Sainsbury's or coming out of the university. How are you asking him to converse with someone that's at a CXO level? So what's your idea of actually getting new business people in a junior level and training them up? Or do you think you do need to have a bit of gravitas about them to actually have some experience of actually doing the job already? What's your view on that?
Okay, so we've done it forever. We'll take juniors on and we train them up. At the moment, I've got 2 18-year-olds working for me, and a 22-year-old and a 21-year-old in those roles. And it's a mix. You can get an 18-year-old that wants it bad enough and will teach himself a self-starter, and we can help nurture them and teach them and show them the right ways, and they listen. You get another 18-year-old that just wants to go out and party, right? You got to kiss a lot of frogs. Fortunately, they're at the lower end of the salary spectrum, so you can kiss quite a few frogs and find the one peach. Out of my management team now, 2 guys that I've got started in that telesales role with me, right? And they've come through the ranks, they've made money. 3 guys when we sold out the last business started as juniors with me, and they all made 250 grand each plus when we sold out.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So I feel my job is to take people young, train them up, but marry that with the senior guys as well. So our model this time round is slightly different to the first time round, which was everybody looks after themselves. And our model this time round is to partner up an inside sales guy with a field guy and work as 2-man teams. And the senior guy can then help nurture the younger guy, and I can then help oversee the whole of that on top.
Yeah. Okay. Because when you're looking for staff yourself, and obviously the channel will be interested in finding out this as well. Is there a sort of secret? I don't know about the secret sauce, Jonathan, but is there a secret sort of things that you're looking for, or 2 or 3 things that you're looking for to sort of say, actually, they've got these 2 or 3 attributes. Yes, I can do something with them.
There's definitely a secret. I don't know what it is yet, because I keep getting it wrong. There must be a secret.
There must be out there.
What it is. That's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah, I suppose if we all knew that, we'd be making millions ourselves. So yeah.
Yeah. The staff is the problem. Finding the right people, and making it work, and it takes time. We definitely have our style, which kind of gets fed down from the top. We lead from the front, and that helps show people the way forward. I always say to my guys, I will never ask you to do anything I'm not prepared to do myself. And when they say, "Oh yeah, but you don't cold call anymore," I still cold call, right? I'm on LinkedIn till 2 in. I'm reaching out to people. I'm making contacts. I'm getting opportunities. I still carry a number. I'm the top salesman in the organization.
You still carry a number yourself?
I love selling too much. I can't not do it.
Brilliant! Wow,
yeah,
fantastic.
I can't not do it. And literally, showing how we've done this year so far. Again, I have an internal in my team, so me and one other guy, and actually he's now more of a field guy as well. So we're looking to backfill that with a third, and we're 100% of our year goal this quarter.
Fantastic.
Right? It's because I love selling. I love talking to people. I love new tech, and I love, adding value to my customers. And we do a lot of work with public sector, and showing them value is what counts. And that's what we do constantly. Our job is not dissimilar to the customer's job. They're looking for things they can buy, and we're looking for things we can sell. So we look at the whole market, and then, we'll go to our customers and say, look, I found these things. If I was sitting where you're sitting, I'd buy this.
Yeah.
And we're passionate about it. And that works well.
Okay. In terms of other resellers out there, there's going to be companies out there that are very concerned with COVID at the moment. And they might not be thinking about security or that as a threat, but at the moment that's just as big a threat, because they're not stopping. They're, the hackers and all that sort of stuff. So what can people do to maybe protect themselves while they're thinking they're trying to get home working, but they haven't got access to the data center and the security might not be as tight as what it was? What can they do to make sure they're at least doing the basics to protect themselves?
Well, so one of the key things that most people should do is at least go through Cyber Essentials, right?
Right.
So Cyber Essentials is a great baseline to say, have I got the basics of my security? Do I actually understand what my security should look like? And have I got the basics done, and that's the very, starting point for any organization, is to at least pass Cyber Essentials. And that will give them a baseline of what they can do and where they should be from a security perspective. After that, they should probably get some penetration testing done, some kind of ethical hacking to see, is anything open to the public? Am I safe enough? And those are kind of the two baselines to start from, really, from a security perspective. You can buy a lot of stuff, right? But I'm keen not to buy unnecessarily. I'm a business owner. I don't want to spend any money, right? So I put myself in the customer's position. I say, I don't want to spend any money, so why should you? Shouldn't we find out where you are first?
Yeah.
And then we can move on from there.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not asking you to have a crystal ball, Jonathan, but what's your view on the sort of landscape for the partner community now? Do you think, this is going to be a new way of working? Do you think you'll see less offices and more home working, or do you see like when this is over, which is hopefully in a few weeks or at least months, that we'll go back to sort of like the offices and we'll be collaborating as teams again and going back to what we had?
It depends what kind of organization you run, right? So if you are a reactive sales organization, you may as well work from home, right? What's the point of going to an office? If you're a collaborative, new business, hungry, go-getter organization, you need an office. My guys are begging to go back to work. They can't wait to get back in the office, get some structure back to the day. We call between these times, we do this, we do that, and getting back out to those shows, right? Those shows are very good for us. And we've had the Manchester one postponed. I'm sure InfoSec will get postponed. And we'll be busy at the back end of the year, but then we'll get 3 shows all in a row that are all basically the same, which will be annoying.
With those shows, Jonathan, why are they so good for you? Are people interested in engaging with those shows, or what is it, a meeting place, or why is it so good?
So we do them differently to other people. We see it as a way of socializing with customers and new prospects. And we have done very well out of them for many, many years. And in this age of, GDPR and all of that kind of stuff, and you can't cold call me, and it's a way of building a database with real people. And we get business out of it.
Yeah, so it's a good way to engage without being, pissing off, basically, not going and sort of calling them, etc.
Yeah, and like I was saying to the guys this morning, you on a different call. If you're at a show with sales guys that don't want to be there and vendor partners that don't want to be there, then you're going to have a crap show. If you're at an event with sales guys that see this as an opportunity to build pipeline, and vendors who see this as an opportunity to build pipeline, then you can make money out of it. And that's why we go. And that's why our vendors choose to go to these shows with us.
In your current sales team at the moment, are you managing them differently now? Because obviously you're going to have remote meetings and virtual meetings or huddles, whatever you're doing. Is it a bit a different vibe, or is it still sort of like quite collaborative?
So the next few weeks are going to be training only, really. I think I think in this furlough period, you're allowed to self-educate. You're allowed to do things like that. For the next few weeks, we're doing a call every day, and we're doing beers after work every day, all via Zoom. And that's trying to keep the spirits up. But like I keep saying, like I said before, I won't ask my guys to do anything I'm not prepared to do myself. And I'm not prepared to sit there cold calling people today.
No,
and I wouldn't expect that of someone else.
Okay, great.
Thanks for joining us and listening to another episode of our Channel Chat podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard and are listening on iTunes, please could you give us a review and subscribe in order to get the newest episodes as soon as they're released. Otherwise, as always, we release an episode every Thursday at midday, so hopefully you can join us then.